Hi all, NCERT Class 8 Biology Chapter Microorganisms Friend and Foe. What are microorganisms? The organisms which can be seen only with an aided eye are called microorganisms. Microorganisms can be classified into four groups: bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae, and viruses. Friendly microbes. Microorganisms are used for various purposes, such as making of curd and bread. Commercial uses of microorganisms including production of alcohol, acetic acid, and wine. Medicinal use of microorganisms including vaccines and antibiotics. Increasing soil fertility and cleaning the environment. Let's look one by one. First one, making of curd and bread. Curd contains several microorganisms. Of these, the bacterium Lactobacillus promotes the formation of curd. It multiples in milk and converts it into curd. Bacteria and yeast are also helpful for fermentation of rice leaves and dosa batter. Yeast reproduces rapidly and produces carbon dioxide during respiration. Bubbles of the gas fill the duct and increase its oleum. Thus, yeast is used widely in baking industries. Commercial uses of microorganisms. Microorganisms are used for a large-scale production of alcohol, wine, and acetic acid. The process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is known as fermentation. Louis Pasteur discovered fermentation in 1857. Medicinal use of microorganisms including antibiotics and vaccines. The medicines kill or stop the growth of the disease-causing microorganisms is known as antibiotic. Streptomycin, tetracycline, and erythromycin are some of the commonly known antibiotics. Vaccines. When a disease-causing microbe enters our body, the body produces antibiotics to fight the invader. The body also remembers how to fight the microbe if it enters again. If dead or weakened microbes are introduced into a healthy body, the body fights and kills the invading bacteria by producing suitable antibodies. The antibodies remain in the body and we are protected from the disease-causing microbes forever. This is how vaccine works. Edward Jenner discovered the vaccine for smallpox in 1798. He is known as the father of immunology. Increasing soil fertility. Some bacteria are able to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere to enrich soil with nitrogen and increase the fertilities. These microbes are commonly called biological nitrogen fixers. Cleaning the environment. Microorganisms decompose dead organic matter of plants and animals and convert them into simple substances. Thus, microorganisms can be used to degrade the harmful and smelly substance and thereby clean up the environment. Harmful microorganisms. The harmful activities of microorganisms are disease-causing microorganisms in humans, disease-causing microorganisms in plants, disease-causing microorganisms in animals, food poisoning, etc. Disease-causing microorganisms in humans. Disease-causing microorganisms are known as pathogens. Microbial disease that can spread from an infected person to a healthy person through air, water, food, or physical contact are called communicable diseases. There are some insects and animals which act as carriers of disease-causing microorganisms. Example, housefly, Anopheles mosquito, female Aedes mosquitoes, etc. Some common human diseases caused by microorganisms. First one, tuberculosis. It is caused by a bacteria. Its mode of transmission is air. Then measles. It's caused by virus. The mode of transmission is air. Chickenpox, virus, air or contact. Polio, virus, air or water. Cholera, bacteria, water or food. Typhoid, bacteria, water. Hepatitis A, virus, water. Malaria, protozoa, mosquito. Disease-causing microorganisms in plants. The disease reduces the yield of crops. They can be controlled by the use of certain chemicals which kill the microorganisms. Some common plant disease caused by microorganisms are Citrus canker. The microorganism is bacteria. Its mode of transmission is air. Rust of wheat. Fungi. Air. Seeds. Yellow vein mosaic of Bindi. Virus. Its mode of transmission is insect. Disease causing microorganisms in animals. Several microorganisms not only cause disease in humans and plants but also in other animals. Anthrax, a dangerous human and cattle disease caused by a bacterium. Foot and mouth disease of cattle is caused by a virus. Food poisoning. Food poisoning could be due to the combustion of food spoiled by some organisms. Microorganisms that grow on our food sometimes produces toxic substances. These make the food poisonous, causing serious illness and even death. Food preservation. The methods of food preservation are chemical method, preservation by common salt, preservation by sugar, preservation by oil and vinegar, hot and cold treatment. First one, chemical method. Sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfate are some common chemical preservatives. These are used in jams and squashes to check their spoilage. Preservation by common salt. Common salt have been used to preserve meat and fish for ages. It is also used to preserve amla, raw mangoes, tamarind, etc. Preservation by sugars. Jams, jellies and squashes are preserved by sugar. Sugar reduces the moisture content which inhibits the growth of bacteria and spoil food. Preservation by oil and vinegar. Use of oil and vinegar prevents spoilage of pickles because bacteria cannot live in such an environment. Hot and cold treatment. Boiling kills many microorganisms. Similarly, we keep our food in the refrigerator also. Low temperature inhibits the growth of microorganisms. Pasteurization. The milk is heated to about 70 degrees Celsius for 50 to 30 seconds and then suddenly chilled and stored. By doing so, it prevents the growth of microorganisms. This process was discovered by Louis Pasteur. It is called pasteurization. Storage and packing. These days, dry fruits and even vegetables are sold in sealed airtight packets to prevent the attack of microorganisms. Nitrogen fixation. Bacteria like ribosomes are involved in the fixation of nitrogen in leguminous plants. Ribosomes live in the root nodules of leguminous plants such as beans and peas, with which it has a symbiotic relationship. Sometimes nitrogen gets fixed through the action of lighting also. Nitrogen cycle. Just look the nitrogen cycle. The nitrogen in the atmosphere, it is taken by lightning or by bacteria like blue-green algae in the atmosphere. The bacteria fixes nitrogen into nitrogenous compounds. These compounds are released into the soil. The lightning also released into the soil. Then it is uptaken by plants. Then animals eat plants. Nitrogenous waste from excretion and death also comes to the soil. And another bacterial type turns the compounds of nitrogen into gaseous nitrogen and return it to atmospheric nitrogen. Thank you.